I got you. Fantastic. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great day too. Happy belated Valentine's Day and have a good weekend. Thank you so much again. Take care. Bye-bye. I really wanted to go ahead and film the next client calling us, just given the fact that the phones have been ringing off the hook. There's a lot of people out there with similar questions, a couple of concerns. So I was just thinking with my team, you know what? The next caller that contacts us, let's go ahead and, if it's possible, if they allow us to go ahead and record or film, let's go ahead and put this on our channel. I wanted to go ahead and address a few questions live for you guys. Just obviously the raw nature of it. So let's go ahead and I have a conference phone over there and let's check it out. Let's see what happens.
Hi, my name is Charles.
Hey, Charles.
I got your number from the internet. I was looking for a credit repair and restoration company, and you guys came up, so I decided to give you a call.
Absolutely, Charles, and thank you so much for giving us that vote of confidence and allowing us to go ahead and serve you. I know that I spoke to one of my staff members. They just informed me that they told you with regards to that we're going to be going ahead and filming this, and I just wanted to go ahead and get confirmation from you if that's okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Fantastic. Again, let's go ahead and try to leave any kind of personal information out of this conversation. But nevertheless, I believe you had a few questions with regards to mortgages, correct?
Correct. That's the reason I call. I just moved from out of state. I'm living here now in Miami, and I've been renting a while. And now we want to look at purchasing our own home. However, I'm not even sure what my credit score should be and what I should be doing first. The last time I checked, it was in the mid 500s. I'm not sure if that's good enough and what my next steps ought to be.
Got you, Charles. You know what? I'm going to bring Berto in too. As for people that know, me and Berto actually, and just to let you know, Berto's obviously our sales manager here at Buildworth Strategies. You're probably going to have to talk into.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, and basically what, obviously with the information and knowledge, if it's regarding mortgages, I think the more information that we're able to go ahead and provide to you, the better decisions that you're going to be able to make. So, well, first things first, Charles, with regards to the purchasing of the home, obviously I know that's something that you want to go ahead and get done. And you might have a couple of concerns with regards to that. But nevertheless, I know you already shared with me that your credit scores right now are at the 550s, mid 500s. The first thing that we always offer clients is a free credit evaluation. The evaluation is really going to give us a good perspective as to what's happening with your credit scores, what's happening with your credit report. We usually go ahead and pull a report because the last thing that we want to do is talk about numbers and not having things that physically present in front of us. So the more accurate information that we have, the more accurate figures we're able to go ahead and provide over to you. So nevertheless, let me ask you a question, Charles. And obviously you gave me the credit scores. How did you get these scores? Do you currently monitor your credit, or do you have a credit monitoring provider?
I get I think it's a free service provided by my bank. Every now and again, I get an email saying this is my credit journey and my credit score went up or went down. I really don't understand all of that. I just know that I get it quarterly maybe from the bank. They send me something about it.
Excellent. So I'm going to tell you this, especially if you're looking to go ahead and have healthy credit for the purposes of purchasing a home, I'm going to highly advise you. So one of the major tips that I'm going to give you, even before obviously repairing your credit or anything like that, have a tool or have a way to measure what's happening with your credit. So having a credit monitoring provider basically provides that to you. It's a way to gauge what's happening from month to month. So at the same time, having a comprehensive report somewhere that you're able to go ahead and log in. And in this particular case, given the fact that you obviously have these scores from the bank, looking at what's called a FICO score is going to be ideal.
Right. Sorry, Charles. Real quick. This is Alberto again. I'm the office manager. I've been. How you doing today, boss? I've been listening to your conversation with Justo. I had a few questions of my own that I wanted to go ahead and. I understand that you are currently monitoring your credit, but look, just so that you can understand, Charles, the reason why Justo is telling you to actually seek reputable credit monitoring platform is because, again, by looking at the free ones that you're looking at what is called the Advantage scoring model, pretty much the formula. Opposed that when you go to the bank to apply for this mortgage, the banks are going to judge you based on a FICO score. So just with those two things, I mean, at this particular point in time, you're actually, you're not even. Well, how do I say this?
I would say, in a sense, the more accurate information that you have, and the Vantage, what it's going to do, it's going to have, the algorithm is different. So with that said, one of the companies that I always encourage, well, two companies in this particular case, could be either myfico.com. MyFICO gives you different variations with regards to different scoring platforms, even though that will never have the exact scoring model that banks use or mortgage companies use, but you want to get as close as possible.
Right.
And also
Just
credit check
to have a fighting chance, because at the end of the day, if he's looking at just at Credit Karma or any of these sites, he doesn't even have a fighting chance, because the bank are going to judge him on something completely different to what he's looking at.
So the first key component here, obviously you're looking to purchase a home. Let's get yourself into a credible credit monitoring, and the one that's going to give us the closest score possible is usually the ones that we've seen that's very similar is either Credit Check Total or also myfico.com.
Right.
Now, not only that, Charles, let me ask you a question. Do you have any kind of specific idea as to the loan amount, or have you spoken to a mortgage company or a bank yet?
That was going to be my next question. More or less, Charles, for when are you looking to get into this new home for your family?
Do you have a time frame?
Yeah, well, yes, I do. Actually, my current lease expires in about 6 months.
Okay.
So I was hoping to be able to get qualified and do something so that I don't have to renew a lease again. And as far as the value,
well, what is your cap? Like, what's the cap? What's the most that you want to pay? 400.
400,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
So I could go into two things there, and also, Charles, just to let you know, and I'm glad that you're calling now. You're taking that proactive step. Sometimes, I guess, for the most part, we live in a society where we live in America. Everything's fast paced. We think that things are going to develop themselves. They're going to go through a process, and in the next month or in 45 days, we're going to be able to get there. When we're talking credit, credit's a process.
Look, I'm going to tell you this, Charles. Most of us consumers, we fail to plan, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We don't plan to fail, but we fail to plan.
Absolutely.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah.
So at the same time, what happens a lot of times is that even, we're excited, we want to get a new home, everybody wants to live the American dream, but we don't take the proper steps that need to be taken in order for that to happen. So that's why, based on what Justo is saying, you're calling at a pivotal time now because you're just getting started. So we should be able to pretty much help you through the process to get you there.
What do I need to do to get the free credit evaluation?
Absolutely, Charles. So what we're going to do is this, and just for the facts that we're obviously going ahead and recording this conversation, I'm just going to ask you a few more questions. Once we're done with the whole thing, then I'm going to go ahead and take a break. Obviously, we're not going to record, and then we're going to go into some sensitive information, such as like getting you enrolled for the credit monitoring, asking you for your name, last name, date of birth, social, address. And then once we bypass all that, we have the report, I'm going to give you the next steps. But nevertheless, I always like to pretty much find out exactly what the actual goals are for our clients.
Right.
Because that's exactly what the purpose of this program is try to get you to a specific goal. Obviously, just given the fact that you're in the mid 500s and you obviously know more or less about the purchase that you want to go ahead and buy, let me ask you a question. Do you know the credit score that's needed in order for you to purchase this property? Have you spoken to somebody about that? Do you know?
No, I haven't spoken to anyone. Actually, you guys are the first people I've contacted.
Okay. I have another quick question for you, Charles. By any chance, are you a veteran, or are you ex-military or anything like that?
No. No, I'm not.
Okay. And the reason why I'm asking that, Charles, just to let you know, is because depending, veterans, obviously they have what is called the VA loan, which the requirement is actually less than the average person. So I usually like to ask that just so that I can gauge what the situation is and how is it that how soon more or less we can potentially help you get to your goal.
So I'm gonna go ahead and piggyback on that with regards to that, Charles. So given the fact that you're looking to purchase a home, and this is actually your biggest, or for the most part, it's going to be one of your biggest investments in your life, right? So we always want to maximize on scores. So I always tell people, especially if we're looking to purchase something as important as a home, let's be proactive, let's be positive, and let's go through a process. So in this particular case, so that you understand, fair credit starts at a 620.
Right.
So that literally would be like the benchmark to start off from looking at a loan. So anything less than a 620 is considered bad credit. So again, credit is basically a formula that calculates a type of risk that a creditor is going to run with a consumer. So in this particular case, the higher the score, the less of a risk.
Right.
And given that this is one of your biggest investments, we want to go as high as possible. So at a 620 credit score, obviously you're eligible for a conventional type loan, but obviously the rates are probably going to be average, 6%, 7%, depending on what the market.
Right.
Here in Florida,
we
have the FHA.
The FHA, correct. Now, is this the first? Is this your first home, Charles? This is the first time that you're buying? Okay, so
first home.
he might even qualify for the FHA.
Yep.
You know, which it should provide him some sort of a help when it comes to the first-time home buyers, aside from the fact that it could potentially offer the best rates.
Not only that, Charles, just to add on to what Alberto's saying, and just to go ahead and clarify a little bit as to why we're talking about mortgages, Charles, and just to give a little bit of background with regards to us. We were actually brokers many moons ago, before the economy fell. For almost 6 years, me and Alberto actually worked together as mortgage brokers, and we worked for many different companies, and we were able to help hundreds of people, obviously, purchase homes nationwide. Similar things like what we're doing now with the credit. So that's a little bit of background with regards to us. And going back to what I was referring to, the FHA, and I didn't ask you, from what state are you calling us from? Because every state is different, and they have different products and services.
That's key.
Programs.
Yeah, I'm in Florida. I'm
beautiful.
in Miami now.
Perfect.
Fantastic. So we got a local.
Yeah.
I was kind of confused because I saw your number, but I don't know if you have a New York number or whatnot, but I was kind of confused by that. I always ask.
This is my old number because I moved from out of state, out of town. So I just kept the number.
So look, listen, let me tell you, when it comes to the FHA, which is a beautiful program to have, but in order for you to be eligible for that, you have to have a minimum credit score of a 640.
Right.
Now, good credit starts at a 680 though. So the higher the score, again, the better the risk. So one of the things that I would highly encourage for you to do, since given the fact that you're at the mid 500s, let's try to get you to that 680. The evaluation is going to uncover all the opportunities that you're going to have.
Right.
So
is it possible, man? Do you think there's hope? I mean, I'm at like around 550 and you're telling me 620 or 680. Is it possible? Do you think you can do that?
To be honest with you, Charles,
what do you think's holding you back? What do you think's holding you back?
Once we get once we're able to see your report to give you that evaluation, we're not only going to be able to leverage what are the possibilities, but we're also going to be able to see what is your debt ratio looking like.
Yeah.
You understand? Because that's another thing that is going to play a big part when it comes time for you to go to the mortgage company.
Absolutely.
Follow?
So, Charles, let me ask you a question.
Great.
Based on what you've seen in your report, what do you feel that is holding you back? What type of accounts do you have? Do you have any kind of collections, any kind of charge-offs, late payments?
I was trying to buy a car a few months ago, and I just went from dealer to dealer, and I didn't know they were running my credit, and I think that hurt me a little bit on the points.
Yeah, man. That could have hurt you a lot, actually, Charles. Do you remember or do you recall what was your credit more or less looking like before you went into the dealership?
And I think it was just around 600.
Okay.
And
So
then,
we probably got a few inquiries.
Yeah, and I had also collections. I think there was a collection 2 issue a while back.
Okay.
So I don't really understand all that stuff, guys. So if you could help me out so I can get into
We got you, brother. We got you.
Appreciate it.
No problem.
So
bro.
look, and obviously I appreciate you giving us some of this feedback, some of that information. Again, we're not mortgage brokers. That's not what we do anymore. We're obviously credit specialists.
Right.
I always like to ask people, and as much information that I could go ahead and share with you guys, the more informative that we are and the education aspect of it, the more prepared you're going to be.
Right.
So nevertheless, we do have certain contacts, and given the fact that you're in Florida, maybe we could even make a referral over to one of our friends that are in that industry once you obviously start getting close to that score that you're going to need. But just keep in mind,
I mean, not only that, I was going to say also, being that Charles, he's in the process of all of this, we might be able to also offer him, aside from the free credit evaluation,
the financial
needs analysis. Because
yes.
at the same time, Charles, you are going to need down payment, deposit, closing costs. And if you haven't spoken to anybody
Reserves.
yet, right, we might be able to also shine some light and help you regarding, what are the things that you are going to need to have in order for that big move.
Yeah, so that's an additional service that we're offering. Again, it's complimentary, and so what we're basically going to be doing is looking at all your financials. So even though that we're looking at your credit report, we're also going to be looking at gaps in your finances, looking at the savings, because nevertheless, even though that you're going to need good credit over a 680, 720 credit score to get the best favorable rates, but once you get to that level, you want to make sure that you've been saving money, you've been reducing your debt, we're looking at your assets, all those things. So part of the financial needs analysis is basically to uncover all that.
Right.
And so let's go ahead and do this. Obviously, guys out there, if Charles, I'm gonna go ahead and put you on hold for a second, okay? Don't hang up. I'm gonna do the evaluation now. So give me 1 second. Don't hang up.
Okay, cool.
So there you have it, friends. This is more or less like usually conversations that we have with people that contact us.
That was actually really good. A lot of information, guys. I mean,
we're here, Charles. Give us 1 second.
Sure.
Thanks.
So again, guys, a lot of information. Again, like Justo said, we're not mortgage brokers anymore, but being that we come from that industry, we would be able to guide you guys in the right direction. Pretty much tell you what are the do's and do nots. On how to prepare for it. So, nevertheless,
we're here to go ahead and give you guys as much information as possible. We do have a 3-phase process where we help clients to restore disputing negative accounts. He said he had a couple of collections, or maybe he has a couple of inquiries. Keep in mind, guys, everything in your credit can be challenged under the Fair Credit Reporting Act. That act states that everything has to be verifiable, accurate, and completed. Collections, and he said it was a little bit old.
Yeah, a while ago. So with that said, depending on how old the collection is, that might, it might not even be much of a setback.
Absolutely, because given the fact that the longer the length of time that has passed, the higher the probabilities of finding those mistakes. So in a sense, we're experts at finding those mistakes. Nevertheless, we're going to continue to share more information. Obviously, based on what he's telling us, he's already looking kind of like a good candidate for the service.
He more or less seems good. We just have to, like he said, identify what are the real things, that he has on his credit. But aside from that, I think, we should be able to help him, man.
Absolutely. So obviously, guys, hope we could probably do like a follow-up video to this. That's actually one of the first times we actually record.
Actually, I kind of like this. The whole we're talking about mortgages now. We should do another one. I don't know, or something else.
Let's see. Next time we have somebody with a different question, we'll continue to.
Let's see what's your response to this video, and based on that, we're gonna jump on something.
Definitely, guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you guys are new to the channel, subscribe, like. If you guys know, comment. If you guys know somebody right now that's maybe going through a similar situation, share the video, share the link. Let's keep this open communication. And on the next time, thank you so much, guys, for your love and support.
Thank you, guys.
Take care.